Lakshmi. I have done MD Pathology. I'm working as Assistant Professor in Department of Pathology, Sree Balaji Medical College and Hospitals. So I'm a consultant in NABL accredited laboratory. I have done 8 publications in national and international journals. I have 7 years of UG and TPG teaching experience. So let's move on to the topic. So today I'll be talking about thyroid and parathyroid gland pathology. So these will be my objectives. So I'll be talking about hyperthyroidism, thyroiditis, neoplasms of thyroid, hyperparathyroidism and hypoparathyroidism. So before going into the topic, let's see some few basic things. How the anatomy of thyroid gland will look. So thyroid gland is a butterfly shaped organ. It has 2 lateral lobes which is connected by a small part called a isthmus. So it is located below and anterior to the larynx. So histology. So it will have varying sizes of thyroid follicle. Look at this picture. The individual follicle, how it looks, it is lined by the lower cuboidal epithelium filled with homogeneous colloid material. So how the hormones are secreting? From the hypothalamus, thyroid releasing hormone will be secreted. It will activate pituitary. From pituitary, thyroid stimulating hormone will be released, which will go to the thyroid gland and activate thyroid follicles. From thyroid follicles, T3 and T4 hormones are got released. So what happens? So this will increase your basal metabolic body rate. It's very important for the metabolism of protein, carbohydrates and fat. So very important functions and all in our body is done by thyroid hormones. So first we'll talk about hyperthyroidism. So what is hyperthyroidism? Hyperfunctioning of thyroid gland, we call it as hyperthyroidism. So it is again divided into primary and secondary. So if any abnormality related to the thyroid organ itself, we call it as primary hyperthyroidism. Secondary is any abnormality other than the thyroid gland, we call it as secondary. For example, TSH secreting pituitary tumors. Hypothyroidism. So what is hypothyroidism? If there is any structural and functional dearrangements that interferes with the production of thyroid hormone, we call it as hypothyroidism, where the T3 and T4 levels will be low in the blood. So again there are several causes for hypothyroidism. Again we divide it into primary and secondary. In primary there will be genetic defects, thyroid hormone resistance syndromes, autoimmune thyroiditis, iodine deficiency, drugs like lithium, all this can cause primary hypothyroidism. Secondary pituitary failure and hypothalamic failure can cause secondary hypothyroidism, which are very rare. So if you see hypothyroidism in infancy and childhood, you call it as a disease called cretinism. So this cretinism is very common in hill areas where iodine is deficient. So patient will be having severe mental retardation, starch chaser, coarse facial features, protruding tongue and umbilical hernia. So these are the signs and symptoms. In myxedema, what is myxedema? Hypothyroidism developing in the older child or adult, we call it as myxedema. So patient will be having generalized fatigue, apathy, mental sluggishness, cold intolerance and constipations. So let's move on to the another topic called as thyroiditis. So thyroiditis means inflammation of thyroid gland. So we divide it into 3 types. So 3 subtypes. So first is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Second is granulomatous thyroiditis. Third is subacute lymphocytic thyroiditis. Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So all thyroiditis are very common in middle-aged women. So between the age group of 30 to 50 years. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis, it is an autoimmune thyroid disorder. Okay, patient will be coming to you with the complaints of painless enlargement of thyroid, where you can see symmetric and diffuse enlargement of thyroid gland. So this is the gross image. So look at it. So there is a diffuse enlargement of thyroid gland, capsule is intact and cut surface is pale, yellow, turned, firm and somewhat nodular. In microscopy, you can see the thyroid parenchyma infiltrating with the lymphocytes. Okay, at places it will form germinal centers called as lymphoid follicles. So what happens to the thyroid follicles? It will be atrophied. At places it will be lined by cells called as Hürthle cells. So which is the hallmark of Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So these Hürthle cells will have abundant eosinophilic and granular cytoplasm. What is subacute granulomatous thyroiditis? Again it is very common in middle-aged women. It follows post-viral infections. In gross, you will be seeing a thyroid gland with intact capsule, firm. It can be either unilateral or bilateral. Under microscopy, you will be seeing disruption of thyroid follicles. Initially, there will be polymorphonuclear infiltrate. Later, it will be replaced by lymphocytes, plasma cells, and macrophages. And you will be seeing granulomatous reactions with giant cells. What is subacute lymphocytic thyroiditis? We call it a silent or painless thyroiditis. So this is the disease follows pregnancy. It's an autoimmune disease. It can occur in middle-aged women. Painless neck mass is the presentation. Gross will be usually normal. Under microscopy, you will be seeing lymphocytic infiltration and hyperplastic germinal centers. Let's move on to another topic, diffuse and multinodular goiter. What is goiter? In simple terms, it's enlargement of thyroid gland. It can enlarge from few centimeters to several centimeters. So why it is occurring? Because hypertrophy and hyperplasia of follicular epithelial cells. Because of that, the gland is getting enlarged. So there will be impairment of thyroid hormones. So look at the gross image. External surface, usually it will be multilobulated, asymmetric, may attain massive size. Cut surface, how it will look? It will have irregular nodules filled with grey-brown gelatinous colloid material. Colloid-rich hyperplastic cells, it will be lined by the flattened epithelium in the microscopic path. So we'll move on to the neoplasms of thyroid. So neoplasms, we have benign neoplasms and malignant neoplasms. Benign neoplasms, there are adenomas. So these adenomas are derived from follicular epithelium. Look at the gross image, how it looks. Solitary lesion, spherical, well defined with intact capsule. Microscopy, look at it. There is a uniform follicles containing colloid, intact well formed capsule, no capsular invasion. So carcinomas, there are 4 main carcinomas in the thyroid gland. First is papillary, second is follicular, third is anaplastic, and the fourth is medullary. So papillary carcinoma is the most common carcinoma of thyroid gland, primary thyroid carcinomas. Occurs at any age associated with previous exposure to ionizing radiation. It metastasizes via lymph node. So clinical features, patient will be presenting to you with painless mass in the neck, and survival rate is 95%. It has very good prognosis. So this is how it will look in the gross. Okay, it can be either solitary or multiple, and it can be encapsulated, well circumscribed sometimes, and it can show secondary changes like fibrosis, calcification, and cystic areas can be present. So look at it, this image, what you are seeing, there is a central white area, right? That is central fibrosis. What are the grey yellow area you are seeing, right? That is calcification. So under microscopy, the nuclear features are very, very important. So you have to refer the nuclear features with the cartoon image which I have shown in the picture. Look at the cartoon image, the eye is optically clear, right? So nothing is there inside the eye. So this cartoon name is orphan eye. So you have to compare the eye of this cartoon image with the nucleus of the cytoplasm. So the nucleus of the papillary carcinoma thyroid, it will be optically clear. We call it as ground glass or orphan eye nuclei. So look at this image. So what you are seeing in the microscopic part, there is tumor cells arranged in papillary architecture with fibrovascular core. The nucleus is optically clear. At places it will be having nuclear grooving. We call it as orphan eye nuclei. Let's move on to follicular carcinoma. So follicular carcinoma accounts for 5 to 15% of primary thyroid carcinomas. It is most common in women again between the age of 40 to 60 years. So patient will be presenting to you with solitary cold thyroid nodules. So it can metastasize through hematogenous route, and it can affect lungs, bones, and livers. So microscopy. In microscopy, you will be seeing uniform cells forming small follicles. So capsular invasion is must. So if you are seeing capsular invasion, you call it as follicular carcinoma, which is the main point to differentiate it from the follicular adenomas. So in this image, what you are seeing, uniform cells with small follicles. So in the next image, look at the next image, you are seeing tumor invasion in the capsule. So this is very important to differentiate it from follicular adenomas. So next is anaplastic carcinoma. We call it as undifferentiated tumor. It accounts for less than 5% of tumors. Okay, it is very aggressive, 100% mortality rate occurs. So patient's mean age is 65 years. Usually older people, they get this. Under the gross, how it will look, it will appear like a bulky masses extending beyond the thyroid capsule. It will affect the adjacent neck structures. So microscopy. So in microscopy, you will be seeing large pleomorphic giant cells, spindle cells with sarcomatous appearance. Sometimes you will be seeing both spindle cells and giant cells lesions together. The next is medullary carcinoma. Medullary carcinoma is a neuroendocrine tumor. It secretes calcitonin. So what is the function of calcitonin? It regulates calcium and phosphates. Okay, it can secrete other polypeptide hormones as well, somatostatins, serotonin and vasoactive intestinal peptide. So 90% of this tumor are sporadic, 10% can be familiar, associated with MEN2A and 2B syndrome. So gross, how it will look? Solitary nodule, multiple lesions. So multicentricity can be there. In the larger lesions, you can see hemorrhage and necrotic areas. It can extend beyond the thyroid capsule. Under the microscopy, you will be seeing polygonal to spindle-shaped cells arranged in nest trabeculae or in follicles. So what this calcitonin it will do? There will be you are seeing a homogeneous pinkish area, right? Those are amyloid deposits that is derived from calcitonin. So next move on to the parathyroid gland. So there are two parathyroid glands. There are 4 parathyroid glands, 2 superior parathyroid glands and 2 inferior parathyroid glands. So there are 2 pathologies mainly in parathyroid gland. One is hyperparathyroidism, second is hypoparathyroidism. In hypoparathyroidism, again we divide the causes into primary and secondary. Under primary, you will be seeing parathyroid adenoma, primary hyperplasia, parathyroid carcinomas. In secondary, you will be having renal failure. Hypoparathyroidism is usually surgically induced. Post-thyroidectomy, patient can have hypoparathyroidism. Autoimmune disorders, congenital absence. So in this image, what you are seeing is chief cells of parathyroid gland. So these are nothing but parathyroid adenomas. The nucleus is slightly enlarged, but there is no any anaplasia. So this image is of parathyroid adenoma. That's the end of today's session. If you have any queries, please drop down in the comment box. Thank you.